It's March, it's Women's History Month, we've had International Women's Day, and this is Digital Women's Skill Challenge. My name is Rebecca from This Life of Care, and today I'm asking the question, how do you maintain a healthy digital relationship? Now, my advice for maintaining a healthy digital relationship is to be mindful of the communities you choose to engage with. Make sure that you are looking for accounts that resonate with you. Find those like-minded people, the ones that are really positive and make you feel better. One of the bad habits I fell into was succumbing to the peer pressure to follow accounts that didn't really resonate with me, belong to groups that didn't really talk to me, and really weren't adding anything, and falling into the trap of the comparison of yourself against those people's lifestyles. Try and avoid those and choose communities which really lift you up and add value to your life. In addition, I'd say try and find accounts that stretch you. Don't necessarily find an echo chamber, the people that have the same viewpoint as yourself, because it's good for us to be stretched and to look for the other point of view. Just make sure that's done with a really positive mindset. To prove my point about how amazing these communities can be, I've got some fantastic women who I've also asked the question, how do you maintain a healthy digital relationship? Here's what they have to say. Avni Gohill from Virtualicious. She is the queen of quick cooking. Hi Avni, how are you doing?
Hi Rebecca. Well, it's self-styled queen of quick cooking.
Self-styled queen of cooking. But you are, I firmly believe you are. Essentially, it's a food business. What you deliver is online. You're a podcaster and a blogger, and you deliver your, say, ebooks. So you kind of evangelical through the virtual and digital world. So tell me, how do you maintain a healthy digital relationship? And are there any bad habits that you would admit to?
I'll wake up in the morning and I'll pick my phone up and I'll start scrolling for it and waste half an hour, which is a long time. It's a long time because in that time I could have done a lot of other things. So I need to get out of that habit. There's a digital habit I used to have when I had an iPad, when they were kind of like the new thing, and I'd take it to bed with me and fall asleep watching my iPad. And then I got to the point where I couldn't sleep anymore, and so sleep without it, without watching it anymore. And so I weaned myself off, which was fine. But lately I've been doing that with my phone. Now I don't have an iPad. I don't think you need an iPad anymore. Like now the phone's being sort of a bit bigger and a bit more kind of quick. So now, I'll take my phone. My phone's got this rest on the back, so you can kind of prop it up. And so I watch that in bed. And so I'm going to try and get out of that habit.
It's been made far too convenient for us, doesn't it, really?
Yeah.
How about maintaining a good relationship with digital? Because I imagine if you're podcasting, blogging, your business is delivered online, you are working online all of the time. So what are your healthy habits? What tips could you share with others?
I use social media a lot. You're so right. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm really enjoying Clubhouse. But I'm not doing it. Mostly it's from a professional point of view. So I'm not doing it on my personal, on the personal side that much. I don't really post from the personal side. So if you were to look at my personal Facebook feed, it's from what other people may have posted of me. And even then it's very limited. So I think maybe that's why I don't find that it's so consuming or so personal, because it's from a business point of view. Where you have the odd comment, I just realise it's a reflection on that. In terms of when I see my friends, because I do follow my friends from my professional account because it's easier to do that. And sometimes I'll look at somebody's life and think, that's a nice life. I wish I could do that. And then I think, actually, I know that person quite well, and I know that actually there's that really good bit there, but I know that they've also had some hardship, and you know, no matter how shiny it looks on social media, you've got to remember that everybody, you know, and also I know people that from the outside you think, wow, you know, they're doing really well, and but I know the other side of it outside of social media, you know, in real life. So whatever you see on social media, you have to take with a pinch of salt and just kind of realize there's the whole other story you're not seeing. So there's no point in comparing yourselves at all.
Hi, my name's Becky, and I am a recently qualified personal trainer with a background in events, marketing and communications. I am local to West Sussex. I grew up here and it's where I currently live. And so I'm beginning to build myself up, sharing my story online, because my fitness journey has been quite interesting and I've gone from nothing to a personal trainer.
I absolutely love your Instagram profile, so I thoroughly recommend anyone to come and find you. What's your Instagram title, your name?
I am Becky Hughes, so my surname's Hughes.
Yeah. So like you said, you are delivering your story and you have had quite a journey. I've been following you for some time on Instagram. The question I'm asking everybody in this video is, how do you maintain a healthy digital relationship? And if you'd like to admit to any, do you have any bad habits?
It's a really good question, and I see that as a constant evolution as social media evolves and also as I grow as a person. Social media is a huge part of my day job, as well as what I share with my own story online. And I have grown up with social media. I'm an elder millennial, so I have evolved with it, and it has been a constant learning process. My boundaries when I first entered my original career just over 10 years ago were horrendous. And I didn't even really realise at the time that my boundaries were really bad. But as I've gone through a breakdown and my fitness journey, I've realised that it's become more important to develop those boundaries and enforce them. So I work really closely with my employer to discuss what is and isn't acceptable in terms of my presence online for the business in my day job. Mm-hmm. And I am really pleased that they have been really compassionate and understanding about what their expectations are there. So it's about communication if social media is your job. If you're self-employed, it's quite difficult and quite different. And I think it again is just about sitting down occasionally, treating yourself like you're your own boss, which you are, and saying, right, what am I actually doing? What is and isn't acceptable here? Is it really important? Do I need to be responding constantly? I think notifications in particular are really, there's so much interesting stuff in there in terms of psychology and hormones and what the reaction we get to a notification is, and the understanding of those is still developing. So you do yourself a favour by doing a little bit of reading and understanding what happens to your body and your brain when you receive a notification and how you choose to respond to it. And one of the things that I really like to bear in mind is the thought that your phone is for your convenience, not for everyone else's. I find that a really useful thing to remember. So rather than necessarily leaping on a notification instantly, like the only thing that you really have to respond to instantly is when your phone rings, in my mind. And even then, that's not, you don't have to answer it. You have a choice in all of this. And it's reminding yourself of that. Social media and our phones are so clever. The people who develop them are doing it to tie you in, because ultimately it's a commercial object and that's how they make money, is by getting your attention and creating a reaction from you and a response. So it's worth remembering that it's a device that ties you to other people in that way, and you can be controlled by it. And I also like to think of it as a bit like the supermarket, and actually most retail spaces. They are laid out to get you to dwell and to get you to browse and to get you to spend money. And your phone is a similar object in that way. Every time a notification pops up, they know that it raises your cortisol level, the stress hormone. They know that it also gives you a dopamine hit, which is the hormone that is responsible for feeling good about yourself, because you're like, oh, someone loves me, it's attention, and isn't that great?
Yeah, even as a social media expert and somebody who does it as their job and building up their personal training and business, you know, you still fall into those traps.
Yeah, definitely. And awareness is the first step. So realizing that you're doing certain things is the first step, and it can be really uncomfortable. And and you can feel the urge to sort of punish yourself or knock yourself down. But it's worth remembering that that trap has been laid for you by an organisation that wants your money and your time, and to be compassionate with yourself about that. And once you know about something, you can choose to change it if you want to.
Hi Rebecca. So yes, I'm the founder of BrainCheck, which is a digital platform that I set up 3 years ago, specifically to help women take control of their financial futures. And we do that through a combination of things. We offer qualified and regulated financial advice, as well as financial education and group coaching, all in the interests and with a mission to help women build sustainable long-term wealth and live life entirely on their own terms. So because it's a very, very much a global and international based community, digital has been a really important part of facilitating that.
Fantastic. So the big question I'm asking everybody today is, how do you maintain a healthy digital relationship? And if I might add, are there any bad habits that you would admit to?
Let's start with the bad habits. So I think for me, particularly as somebody that runs her own business, the vast majority of BrainCheck's operations are run on a solo basis by me. I think it's easy for me to drift into saying, I just need to log on to social media and just check what's happening. I need to make sure that I'm engaging with people that are commenting on posts. But then, as many of us will find, certainly for me, I find myself scrolling incessantly, and that 5-minute check becomes 20 minutes. And if you imagine, if you extrapolate that over 3 times in a day or more, you're talking over an hour of time that's been leaked away doing something that actually doesn't really contribute towards the specific objective that you had for logging on in the first place. So I think from my perspective, one of the things that I do to maintain good digital hygiene is to be quite intentional, not just about, and of course there are bad habits that I slip into, but to try and be quite disciplined about when I log on for social media usage, and making sure that I separate it into BrainCheck related social media usage versus personal use, and that there are different times allocated for both so that I'm not blurring the lines there. But also from a personal perspective, making sure that I'm following accounts that are ultimately designed to uplift and inspire. Lots of female empowerment type platforms. I particularly like sites about yoga and good food, things that I really like, so that when I log on, I'm not immediately confronted with all of the things that can make me feel bad about myself, but instead the things that make me feel good.
So I am Jen, founder of Job Done Digital. So that is my persona for my freelance social media marketing business, specialising in Facebook and Instagram specifically. I started my work as a way to have freedom for myself, to be able to live my life kind of on my terms, as it were. And yeah, that was one of the driving factors behind setting up for myself, for sure.
Fantastic. So your business then, Facebook, etc., it's very much digitally driven. So you're in that space all day, every day. How do you maintain, it's the question I'm asking everybody, how do you maintain a healthy digital relationship?
Yeah, exactly. You hit the nail on the head there, Rebecca. Social media is fast-paced, always stuff going on kind of world. And for me, managing that healthy digital relationship with the internet and myself is like super important. And just for me, things like having a specific set time that I will check and respond to my emails, having notifications turned off. I've found in the past when I've had lots of notifications going on, it's like a crying baby. Your phone is like a crying baby that wants constant attention. If I know I've got something important happening, obviously I will check, but as a rule, I generally have notifications turned off. I find it a lot less stressful. And another one is setting expectations with clients, as in response times, when they can contact me. If they send me an email or try and contact me at 9 o'clock at night, unless their house is burning down, I'm not going to reply to them. Another thing is having screen breaks. So making sure, even if it's just getting up from your desk or wherever you're working and going and having a cup of tea in the front room for 5-10 minutes away from the screen, I think is really healthy. And with like social media specific type thing, scheduling definitely is something that you want to be doing, because you don't want to have that constant live posting, organised, get lots of posts, have your strategy, your plan ahead of time, get those posts in a scheduler. It takes the pressure off immensely.
Sounds fantastic. So it sounds as if you've got everything nailed, but any bad habits?
Bad habits, I would say, I mean, it's easy to get caught down the rabbit hole of scrolling, isn't it? So as much as you say I've got everything under control, it is still easy to get caught. I'll just. So I try not to get caught down that rabbit hole, and also perhaps not so much like work-wise focus, but for me personally, trying not to be on my phone late at night. Especially if you're like in bed, again, it's so tempting, isn't it? Your phone's there. And like, I think for your eyes and your brain and the darkness, they just need a bit of a rest. So some people say they put their phone out of the room. I don't go that far. I'll admit, sometimes I'm on my phone in bed looking at YouTube, watching ridiculous videos at 10:30 at night, but I don't know, I'm only human.
So next up we have Jade Halstead, who's Community Manager for Aviso Media. Hi Jade, how are you doing?
I'm very well today, thank you.
A bit more about you and your role before I ask you these questions about digital health.
So I work for Aviso Media, we're an agency, but we also, my main role, one of my main roles is working on digital women. So I'm the community manager. I also plan all of our content. I help support the events. But I do that for not only Digital Women, I do it for a few other brands as well.
So the big question I'm asking today is, how do you maintain a healthy relationship with digital? What tips and advice would you have for others?
This is hard because I do get digital fatigue. Like I get exhausted from being on social media platforms. Like all day at work, being a community manager, I am like flipping from like LinkedIn to Twitter to Instagram to Facebook, and often you find yourself scrolling aimlessly, without having that purpose. Like you just keep going.
I have to say, I've asked others as well if you've got any bad habits that you'd admit to, so feel free to let us know about any bad habits too.
Bad habit, I'll quickly go to this, is that what you do is you go onto a platform to do something and you say in your head, go straight to this group, do this, and then you see something and then you just start scrolling. It is so instinctual, like you just do it and it's infuriating. And then 5 minutes I'm like, I came on Facebook for a reason, like what was that reason? That is a bad habit for everything. But after work, so during the day I tend to only use social media platforms on my computer, like my phone is out the way and I have like meditation-y music in my ears all day long. And then after work, I purposely put the phone in the drawer, do not disturb, and it stays there for as long as it can stay there. And if I find myself, like, you know, when you go to walk out of a room, you pick up your phone, obviously, because you can't be alone for 3 seconds on your own, right? And I go onto Instagram. If I find myself, I do that more than once or twice a day, I delete the app. Straight up, just delete the app and redownload. Wow. And that's my biggest tip, like, just delete the app off your home screen, like remove it. You don't need it there. But I actually fully delete it completely.
Wow. How did it feel the first time you did that?
So amazing. So I actually done it over Christmas for like 2 weeks, like completely deleted all social media channels, and I got loads of people messaging like, are you okay, like what's going on? I'm like, oh my god, I'm living my best life. Another habit now is deleting it. So rather than the habit being go on it, flick through, procrastinate for half an hour and not do what, like just not be very peaceful in the evenings, I just delete it and it just stops me going there.
Never occurred to me to even delete an app. I think I'd feel like I've lost an arm if I did that. So it's a really good tip. Hi Fiona, thank you for joining me. So you blog at Life of a Crazy Mum, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
So tell us more about you and what your blog's all about, award-winning.
Yes, so really, I only started blogging about a year ago when lockdown started. I've had the blog for, oh God, since about 2007, 17 rather. And it was meant to be more of an outlet for my own mental health. That's what I wanted to do originally, and just put all life's dramas on there about being a single mum, working full time, and yeah, but life got busy, so I done one blog post back in 2017, and then it kind of went dead. Lockdown started, and I thought, wow, I've got like 4 hours extra a day now. I may as well start putting some blogs. So I blog about anything really, lifestyle wise. I haven't got brave enough to talk about my mental health as much on there as what I originally thought I wanted to do. So that is something I'm going to try to do more of this year, is put more personal stuff on there, I think.
Oh, it's something I'll talk about you in the future when you become brave enough then.
Yeah.
You are really in the digital world then. You couldn't be more so. The question I'm asking everybody is, how do you maintain a healthy digital relationship? And if you were to admit to any, what bad habits do you have?
Yes, so I'll start off with bad habits first, and that's what led me to really make my the digital boundaries, I suppose. So before sort of lockdown, when my mental health took a real low point, I was kind of obsessed with likes and people engaging with me, and I wasn't even blogging really at the time, but I suppose my own self-esteem was quite low, and you know, I just fell into that trap of constantly wanting likes on things or constantly wanting comments. But over the last couple of years, I've really I deleted all my social media at that point, because I realised how unhealthy it was going to be. So I deleted all my accounts, and slowly over the last 2 years really built them back up really. But I'm not obsessive over MB, so I just put a photo on Instagram and I leave it. I don't care if it gets 1 like or 10 likes, you know. I haven't got a huge following on my accounts at the moment, and whereas that would have bothered me before, it certainly doesn't bother me now.
I hope you've enjoyed hearing what these amazing women have had to say. If you'd like to know more about the women featured in this video, then their details are just coming up. You can follow them all on Instagram and find them on other platforms too. But I'd love to know what you've thought. If you've got any advice yourself, if anything resonated, feel free to comment, like, share, or please reach out and get in touch. Thanks everyone.